Hey, welcome to On the Path podcast with Cheryl Nembhard. Since I was a kid, I was told my conversations were way too deep. Well, now it's paying off. Join me and the names you know as we go deep into their personal stories of triumph, tragedy, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Friends, this crazy, overwhelming life we live calls for some serious encouragement and inspiration. So grab a cup of coffee and get your notebook because we're going into the classroom of life. So let's get lifted with faith-filled conversations. I'll see you on the path.
Watch in Canada on Yes TV and the Yes TV app. Or watch on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Pioneer Network, Faith TV, and more in the US. Also watch and subscribe on our YouTube channel.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On the Path. I'm so excited, as I always say, you are with me. We are together in the classroom of life. We're learning from incredible teachers who are sharing vulnerably, transparently from their life, from their journey, their books, their movies, their shows. And I'm so excited to have this person with us today. I feel like we are going to be lifted with joy and humor. I cannot wait to tell you about my guest. Let me tell you a little bit about Ellen Skrmetti. Ellen Skrmetti got started in comedy after training at the famous and premier school of comedy, Second City. And she had just started booking herself at comedy clubs. Get this, guys, when the 2020 COVID slammed down and shut down everything. And she reminds us daily that dreams don't have deadlines. She's a living witness of that. She's now got a tour company pursuing her. Her Instagram posts have gone viral and been going viral since spring of 2022. She's got millions of views, and her latest book, and you will know her from probably the title of this book, Hey Jesus, It's Me. And if you know any of those videos, then you know what is in store. We're going to have some humor, some real talk, some laughs. Will you give a big On the Path welcome to Ellen Skrmetti?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so delighted to be here.
I'm so happy to be with you. And listen, this whole journey, we were talking just a little bit and kind of praying and hanging out. This is new for you. It was not on your bingo card. How about that?
It was not on my bingo card. I like to say that God math does not work like our math. And when God decides to carry the one, he will move you all the way to the front of the line.
Ooh, I love that.
He really will. Because everyone has an idea of, okay, it takes this many years to do this or this many years to do that. But when you give it to the Lord, he's like, no, maybe in the human world, but when I get involved, I'm going to put people in your path that we're going to cut out some time here and we're going to elevate. He'll elevate you when he's ready.
Ellen, listen, I'm so excited to have this conversation. And I think for those that don't know you, this whole country of Canada and beyond that are just falling in love with you, I want to get to know you in this fun way. If your life was a movie, what would be the title and why?
I would have to say it would be maybe Platinum Magnolias, a play off of Steel Magnolias, the famous movie from the 1980s. I can still remember crying in the bathroom when it was over in Memphis, Tennessee at the movie theater with my mom, my aunt, and my grandmother. And my aunt and my grandmother have passed away, but it was just such a special movie for us. And the movie is also just about the resilience of women. So I think that it would be some play on Steel Magnolias.
I love it.
Yes.
And you have been surrounded by strong women your whole life?
I have. I'm very thankful. And also strong men who my dad expected my brother and myself to both go out and make our own way and take care of ourselves. And so it wasn't that one of us was raised to be a damsel and one of us was raised to be a leader. We were both raised to be leaders. So I'm very fortunate to have not just strong women, but strong men who've encouraged me.
I love that. And throughout the pandemic, which was such a hard time for so many reasons and more, And since then, you've been just this beautiful source of joy and laughter with these incredible, well done videos of "Hey Jesus, it's me," conversations. How did you get inspired? How did you get that idea to do that? And what made you decide to turn it into a book?
So, the Hey Jesus, It's Me, when I first started, I was doing characters. And one of my characters had a coworker named Kevin. And it was, Hey Jesus, it's me. Listen, we were told to pray bold prayers. So if I pray for my coworker Kevin to get a tapeworm, is that too bold or not bold enough? And my girlfriend said, that just feels more like you. That feels like something silly that you would say. And then I've always been reminded of a day in church where the preacher said, the Lord wants everything. He doesn't just want your big stuff. He wants your little stuff. He wants to hear everything. And I thought, you know what? This could be a really great way to show people, talk to Jesus every day. Tell him everything. Don't just wait until the world is falling down around you. And it grew from there. And then our Lord is so big. I never wanted to do comedy on Instagram. I was so scared of it. I was scared of what people would say. I mean, you're swimming in the deep ocean. But the Lord was like, this is how it's going to have to be because you're a mom with 2 kids in Birmingham, Alabama with no comedy clubs. So I started doing the Instagram reels, but I prayed every night and every morning, dear Lord, do something so big. It could only be you. And when I tell you at 25,000 followers, my book agent, who I now call my fairy book mother, she messaged me and said, I just saw one of your reels. I think you're hysterical. Would you be interested in writing a book? Immediately, I went to and thought, did you guys have Barbizon in Canada, the modeling classes in the 80s?
Oh, I've heard of that, but yes,
Okay,
no, we didn't, but I've heard of
so
it.
Barbizon had every little girl in America thinking for $500 a month, we were going to be models and we were going to get discovered at the mall like New Kids on the Block. And I said, Lord, I'm too old. If this lady is the Barbizon of publishing, help me flesh her out. This sweet lady is Bishop T.D. Jakes' agent, Phil McGraw. She handles some of the biggest names out there, but she loves to find people like me on the internet and help them have a career. And so she helped me shape my book proposal. She got me, a mom with 2 kids in Birmingham, Alabama, in front of the top 4 publishers in the industry, and then got a bidding war. So it's 1000% what happens when you stop trying to do everything the way you think it should be done, which in comedy, it's you get 5 minutes on stage and you get 10 minutes on stage and then you get more and more, but you just let the Lord do his thing. So that's how we're here.
I love that. And it's so, and thank you for sharing it so humbly and authentically and transparently. And I love that you are also mystified. You're like, hey, I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, we remain, my husband and I will look at each other and go, is this happening? And I have an event. We just had to move it to Thursday because of weather. And my girlfriend said, I can't tell you how many people are so excited to meet you. And I'm thinking, but it's just me. It's just mystifying, but it's just me. But I can't believe that people are excited to meet me when all I am doing is being myself, because so many times we do feel like we have to have a persona. But I do think that that's what has resonated with people, is that I don't have a persona. I am just me, and I just want to make you laugh, but I'm not trying to present a perfect world or a perfect mom, or that I have all the answers. I don't. I'm just praying my way through life like everyone else.
I love that. Oh, thank you for that. And you say that humor has been one of your biggest coping mechanisms. It's been one of the things that have helped you. And how are you hoping that will also be the same for people that are reading your book? What role does humor play in all of that?
Well, one thing they say at Second City is comedy is the lie that tells the truth. So a lot of times you can tell the truth and you can wrap it in humor. And I like to call it hiding the medicine. So instead of preaching to someone about God's in control, or I have a chapter that's about unspoken prayer requests. Instead of preaching to people about gossiping, I can tell you a funny story from my childhood that will bring back, though, the importance of truly praying, as opposed to now we've got to where on Facebook we send people vibes and we send thoughts and we send, we send hugs with a bunch of emojis around it. And it's almost like there are people who are scared to say, I am praying for you. And they had rather not offend and go, I'm sending you healing vibes. Well, I've never felt a vibe, but I have felt when people pray for me. I have felt it. Have you ever felt it when you knew a group was together praying for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have felt that. I have never once felt a vibe.
I love that. I just love that. I've never once felt a vibe. Sending you vibes. Yes. I love
Yes.
that. And you have this beautiful way of blending faith and comedy.
Yes.
I wonder, how has that been? Like, how has that been received by your audience? Do you have people that maybe aren't believers, or that just like, tell me about how that's going over?
One of my favorite comments ever, a man said, I am a gay Jewish man and I love you. And I said, I am a straight Christian woman and I love you back. So I love that. And I told my publisher this, I don't care your walk of life. I don't care what you've been through. I want you to come to my page. I want everyone to feel welcome, because isn't that what the Lord wants, is for everyone to feel welcome? And I do believe that there is a hunger and there is a thirst in our world for more people to be boldly Christian. And I do think that it is something that we took for granted in the 80s and the 90s. We just assumed everyone was a Christian, and we weren't really, it was almost like we didn't really have to be out there and say anything about it, because we just assumed that everyone was a Christian.
That's right.
But now there are so many people who don't want to say that they're Christian because they don't want to offend this group or that group. So I think that there's a thirst for more Christians in the world who are just loving Christians who just want to love people.
I love that. Just a thirst to be real, to be practical, to be loving, and authentically ourselves at the same time. I love that. And you when you speak about your sketches, I know that sometimes you say that your sketches are kind of based on true life, based on
Yes.
based on real thoughts, real things going on. Can you give us a particular sketch that actually has a bigger story to it?
Well, yes. If you look at some of y'all was based on how the sketch part was based on how I was feeling about someone that sinned very publicly, and I could not let it go. And they were a public person and they had sinned publicly, and no matter what they did, I could not let it go and forget what they had done, no matter what. And it was almost like I wanted the world to be able to throw apples at them at the town square or something. I don't know what I wanted, but the preacher said in church, how lucky are we that the Lord allows us to be healed in private?
Oh, wow.
Okay, what?
Wow.
A person, and so it hit me that the person who I was harboring so much resentment towards, yes, had failed and sinned very publicly. But I didn't know what his prayers were. I didn't know what he and the Lord had talked to. And I had to let that go. And I had to trust that that was the Lord's problem and not for me to judge. So that was the deeper on the some of y'all. Now, if you ever watch my Jesus Take the Wheel sketch, it is me in the backseat going, this is good. You want to turn? You don't want to turn. That is 1000% my journey in a nutshell. So it is based on real events of how I got here, of me trying to do things my way. And then when I finally said, okay, Lord, you got it. You're taking the wheel. Here you go. And just for anybody who thinks that this has been easy, I had 9 solid months. My page went from 700 to 1,100 in 9 months. Like nothing was happening. And at one point, about 2 weeks before my first reel went viral, I told my husband, I said, listen, If I die before the world knows I'm funny, will you please put "She died trying" on her tombstone?
I love it. I love it. And tell us about this book. Hey,
Yeah.
Jesus, it's me. What can we look forward to, and how did you set the book up?
So what I say in the introduction is that Instagram likes their sketches short and sweet. I mean, you got 30 seconds and that's it. That's all the algorithm is going to give you. But I'm more long-winded and salty. So I take some of my most loved Instagram sketches and I give you a great essay about my life growing up. And it's everything from what it's like to go through menopause, what it's like to have menopause. I'm in perimenopause with a 14-year-old. I did a "Hey Jesus, in your perfect timing, it appears that my daughter's lady time is going to happen at the same time as my. And I know the Lord will never leave me or forsake me, but my husband will. So get us through that. Then we talk everything from growing up in the South with a crazy mother and crazy grandmothers, caramel cakes, church ladies, good recipes. And then a million years ago, I was in the Miss Mississippi pageant. And yes, I was. And this is so great. I was just there to observe and report. The apple from the Fruit of the Loom commercials in the 90s, his name is Mallory, and he was the choreographer for the Miss Mississippi pageant. And then I have found, as I've been touring, he was the choreographer for other state pageants because a former Miss North Carolina said, "Did you have Mallory, the apple from the Fruit of the Loom, doing your choreography?" I was like, "I did." And she said, "Honey, I think he's the godfather of the bend and snap." She said,
The bed and snap. That's hilarious. I've seen that
yes,
in
Legally
Legally
Blonde.
Blonde.
Yes, she goes,
Yes.
"I swear, I think he had to have had something to do with the bend and snap." And I'm like, he very well could have. So, that just resonates with people that I've just given you the real, not the, I was in the pageant and it was so beautiful. I was in a pageant and y'all, we had to walk down 14 steps down in 4-inch heels. And there was an apple from the Fruit of the Loom commercial, was teaching the choreography. And it was all the crazy stuff that most people don't talk about that happens at a pageant.
Oh, I can't wait to read this book. I think it's going to be everything we need. Life is so heavy,
It
so
is.
hard. We need moments of just lightness and joy, and just to laugh at the silliness of who we are. And we are pretty crazy people.
Yes, yes, and we do. We need, I truly want my page and I want this book to be a relief and to also be a reminder we're going to be okay. We are all
Yeah.
we are all going to be okay. I don't know how, but the Lord does know. We're going to be okay.
Oh, I love that. And what I love too is that you say that dreams don't have deadlines.
Yes.
I love that as a thought, as a quote. It should be on walls. I just walk me through what you mean by that, and maybe an encouraging word for people that think it's too late for them.
Well, I love how I got the words. It came from my very dear friends. In the book, you'll see I'm saying thank you to Christy and Carly. They are from Jackson, Mississippi. They are very good friends, best friends with Tate Taylor, who directed The Help, Girl on a Train, other really great movies. He had Bridget Everett in one of his movies. They were in New York having dinner. This is why you need people that talk about you in rooms that you weren't in. My girlfriend said, "Oh, Bridget, we wish you knew our girlfriend Ellen. She is a mom in her 40s. She's probably at home right now writing jokes. She has this dream." And Bridget Everett says, hand me the phone. And she records me a message. And she says, "Ellen, it's Bridget. I'm here with your friends. They've told me about you. I love that you are probably got your kids in the bed and you're writing jokes. And I want to tell you something that LL Cool J told me." And she said, "Dreams don't have deadlines. So you just keep writing and you keep working." And that truly carried me through the pandemic, was just that reminder that it's not over until we're over. So, and also I took my very first comedy class my husband got me classes for my 41st birthday, and it was from a local club. And we were looking at maybe I could take 5 days off and I could go to Chicago for a week and take an intensive there. When the pandemic happened, Second City, they needed money. So they started offering online classes and they started offering online open mics. So I started taking their Second City stand-up comedy writing classes. I started doing their open mics. And if you can handle a Zoom open mic, but they gave you
At Second City.
yes, but they were amazing. They gave you the same great feedback, and you're just meeting people from all across the globe. I am still in contact with my teachers. I still have classmates. We're all in contact with each other. But so, and here I am. I'm 47 and publishing a book. But what if at 41 I thought it's too late for me? It's just not. It's just not too late. And the other thing, I met someone one time who said, he was in his 30s and he said, I would really like to be a doctor, but by the time I'm done, I would be 40. And I just asked him, I said, well, which had you rather? Had you rather be 40 and a doctor or 40 and go, man, if I would have started, I could be a doctor. So, I mean, Lord willing, whatever age it would be that it would happen, Lord willing, we'll be that age. So you have to ask yourself, do I want to be that age living my dream or that age wishing I was living my dream? Just go for it.
I love that. Just go for it.
Yeah.
And in going for it, what have you learned? What are you learning?
The Lord will light your steps. He will show you the steps as you need them. He will not show you the entire staircase. He will not show you the entire map.
Oh, that's good.
But he will show you the stairs and he will send people to you as you need them. I can remember I had a book deal, but I was at a standstill with booking myself into clubs. And I just remember thinking, Lord, I don't hear you. Like, where are you here? I don't hear you. And I had to remain quiet. And it was just a few days later, I get a call. Hey, Ellen, this guy just asked me who he was from a club. And he goes, he would like to manage you. Are you okay if I give him your number? And I said, absolutely. Well, that just set my career off into another motion. And sometimes the Lord will be quiet. I don't know the full story behind that. I don't know if he's just wanting to see if you'll continue to do the right thing without him constantly saying, atta girl. But you just continue to do what you know you're set here to do, even through the times where the Lord is quiet, and he'll show himself again when he's ready.
Oh, I love this. Oh, Ellen, you're a breath of fresh air. I got to ask you, because your skit, Hey Jesus, It's Me,
Yes.
Conversations, if you had a sit down, one coffee, one question only to Jesus, what would your question be?
Am I doing okay? Am I doing what you want me to do?
Wow.
Should I be doing more? What else do you need? I once heard a story in church. I also have this theory that all the preachers go to the same conference and they get the same story. So everyone's probably heard this one. But I once heard this story about, you don't want to get to heaven and the Lord open a room and say, these are all the gifts I had for you on earth. And what we really want is for when we get to heaven, we want the Lord to say, honey, you used everything I gave you. You left no crumbs, as they say. And so I'm getting chilled and teary now because I do want to make sure that I'm using every gift that he's given me to further him, for sure.
Well, I can say in my own small world, you are doing just that, Ellen Skrmetti. You are a gift to the kingdom of God. You are authentic. You are transparent. You are humble. And I'm so excited for you and what God has in store. Hey, Ellen, like with this beautiful wave of popularity, if you will, exposure. I know you've got a tour company after you, this book coming out. I wonder, is there anything next for you? You got anything cooking up your sleeve?
Well, our hope is definitely a second Hey Jesus, It's Me. I definitely have more material to do a second book. Another thing I would love to do, I have characters that I do on Instagram, and I would love to turn those into a audio only book. Have you seen a lot of those
Yes.
where it's
Oh,
almost like radio? It's almost like
love
a
it.
radio performance. So I have some ideas and would love to do something like that. Would be so fun.
I love that. And in your life, who would you say are the funniest people that you know?
Oh, well, my Aunt Jen, who was my mother's sister, she passed away. I talk about her in the book. One time she went to go work at a factory in her town, and the factory came up to my aunt and said, "You know, Jen, you're not making production." And she said, "I'm not here to help you make production. I just heard you needed help."
I love it. And do you get a lot of your skits from family and from like sort of people around you, or these things that you just dream
Absolutely.
up?
Absolutely. If the queen died in the South, the grandma's not doing too good, so let me go ahead and put that bug in your ear. I have heard my mother and the ladies from church and aunts and grandparents, I have heard them plan funerals for people who are still alive more times than I can count. And I don't know if it's because it's so hot in the South that in the old days we would have to get you so fast or what. But I have heard funerals for people who are alive so many times. And then my Southern mom about, "Is that what you're wearing?" And people are like, "Your poor daughter." I'm like, "That's me. This is how I was talked to. This is, no, it's poor me." So it's based on the things my mother would say, or even my grandmother would say, like, I don't know that we should be wearing that top, you know? I mean, I had church ladies who told me when I was 10 that my birthing hips were going to come in handy one day.
Oh, jeez.
I was 10. And my mom's like, I said, "Mama, what are birthing hips?" She said, "What do you know about birthing hips?" And I went, "Well, the little old ladies at church told me they were going to come in handy." And they did not. They did not. I have a skinny pelvis. I had to have a C-section.
Oh my goodness.
I
Oh, I love it.
I leaned into the birthing hips. You know, I was like, "Hey, chips around. Let's do this, y'all."
I love it. Oh my gosh. Ellen, you are hilarious. I wonder just before we go, because we're talking about your brand new book, Hey Jesus, It's Me. When you put these stories and anecdotes together and you said, I really want this book to do what?
Okay. I spent the entire book, the entire writing of the book, I would say, "Lord, send the words." And if the book is awful, it is my fault. And if the book is success, it's all the Lord's. Because I would go outside. I don't know if any of you have ever done grounding where you just walk barefoot in the grass. I would pray. I would listen to Oceans Where Feet May Fail in the car, and then write and pray, "Lord, send the words." So I feel like there are some chapters that will resonate with you. Another person may read over and go, "Oh, that was so funny." They won't get anything, but then the next one they will. There was one chapter that I thought I was done. And I can remember I was going to my car and I said, "Well, if we're not done, then you're going to have to send the words because I don't know what else to do with that one." And so I sat down and I just started just writing and writing. And a sentence came out and I just went, "That's what you wanted, wasn't it? You wanted that sentence in there." And
Wow.
so I believe that no matter who you are or where you come from, there will be different parts, just kind of like how 100 people could hear the same sermon and everybody says they were speaking directly to me. I hope it does that. I hope that everyone picks out something different that speaks directly to them. Because
Oh, you
it was a very, I was just holding the pen.
I was just holding the pen.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes.
So moments of just free flowing, just surrendering.
And just remembering, and then just knowing too that as I'm telling stories about my family, as I'm telling stories about people that I love, also, I'm also making sure that I am telling their best parts. I needed to make sure I didn't want my brother to go, really? You told that part? So I'm wanting to make sure that I'm shaping the stories because, there's maybe a gazillion examples of something. Well, let's make sure we're picking out the best example of my brother. Now, my mother, bless her heart, she really did throw a tree out the back door. So that had to go in there.
Listen, Ellen, tell us all the things. How can we track with you, your
Yes.
Instagram, website? Yeah.
Yes, ellenskrmetti.com. Yes, there are 4 consonants before you get to a vowel. And so that is my website. You can see my, book signings and tour dates. I am on Instagram and TikTok as just Skrmetti. Currently, right now on TikTok, I am reading chapters and telling people to put their headphones. I go, okay, everybody, put in your headphones and look busy at work. I'm about to read you a chapter. And I tell them, make sure you just do this every so often. So I can just read to them. And then I'm on Facebook, but really the best way is Instagram and Instagram and my website. And my book is available wherever you get your books.
I love it. And that's Skrmetti, guys. Skrmetti.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Ellen, it's been a joy having you on the Path. I got a quick speed round for you.
Okay.
I cannot wait. These are important life questions.
Yes.
I mean, wars are forged around these questions.
Let's do it.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Tea or coffee?
Is it sweet tea?
We're talking hot beverages right now.
Coffee.
And since you are from the South, let's get it started. Lemonade or iced tea?
Both. It's called an Arnold Palmer, and it's amazing.
Talk to me.
Yes, you do. And listen, there are 2 schools of thought on if you do the tea first or the lemonade. I like to go tea, lemonade, tea.
Jeez. I love it. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Stand-up comedy or Instagram sketches?
Stand up all day. I started the Instagram sketches to get me to stand up. I absolutely, what you get back from the audience. And I like to tell people too, look, I get heckled on Instagram, so I get love on stage because the audience are just people who love me and want to come and see me live. So it's just a party. I feel like we should have a covered dish dinner in the fellowship hall of the comedy club when it's over.
I love it. Writing or performing?
Oh, if I'm on a book deadline, it's performing. And if I'm performing too much, I want to go back into a hole and write. So whichever one I'm not doing.
I love it. And now this one, you are going to probably have some dividers. We may have to calm down the masses. Sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie?
I mean, it has to be sweet potato.
You're a sweet potato pie girl.
If I must. But yeah.
If you must. I love it. And your favorite Southern dessert growing up? Give us that memory.
Oh, there is a recipe in the book. It's a delicacy and a dying art caramel cake. Church ladies from across the South have the recipe. One thing we did is we forgot to watch them how to make it. And so it is just a dying art of cooking that sugar to perfection and mixing it with cream and butter. And just, I say it takes 15 minutes and a rededication of your heart to the Lord to get it right.
Listen, some would say that these Southern church mothers earn their wings just from their baking alone.
They do. And so there's a caramel cake recipe in my book, but there's also a disclaimer that this is a traditional church lady recipe from a recipe card. If you cannot make it, that is okay. We need you on the flour committee.
Oh, Ellen, I'm just so, you made my day.
You
I knew you would.
you've made mine. You've made mine. This has been so much fun. This has been so much fun.
I hope, would you consider coming back on the path again?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime. I've loved this.
I loved it too, and we love you in Canada. I'm so excited for you. We pray blessings, and man, you just go shine bright, Ellen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you and I love you, Canada.
Thank you for listening to On the Path podcast with Cheryl Nembhard. Please like, download, and subscribe. This has been an Exousia Media production.